My name is Aisha. I am 19 years old. I live with my mother, father, and younger brother in a small house in the city. We are a small, happy family. My father works in an office. My mother stays at home and takes care of the house. My younger brother, Hamza, is 12 years old. He goes to school and loves to play cricket. My mother is a wonderful cook. She cooks fresh food every day. The smell of her cooking fills the whole house. She makes many tasty dishes like chicken curry, dal, lentils, vegetable stew, and roti. My favorite dish is chicken curry with rice. My brother loves fried potatoes. Most days, I help my mother in the kitchen. I wash the vegetables, cut onions, or stir the food while it cooks. I enjoy helping her, but I never cooked a full meal by myself. One day, my mother came into my room and said, "Aisha, I need to visit your grandmother in the village. She is not feeling well." I looked at her with concern. "Is everything okay, Mama?" "She will be fine. I will stay there for one night. I will leave tomorrow morning and return the next evening," she said. I nodded. "Okay, Wawa. I hope she feels better soon." Then she added, "Since I won't be home tomorrow, you will have to cook lunch." I was surprised. "Me? Cook lunch? Alone?" My mother smiled kindly. "Yes, Aisha. You are old enough now. You've helped me many times. Now it's your turn to cook by yourself. Start with something easy." I felt nervous. I had never done this before. What if I make a mistake? I asked. "It's okay to make mistakes," she said. "That's how we learn. I trust you." Her words made me feel a little better. I wanted to make her proud. I wanted to show her that I could do it. That night, I sat in bed thinking about what to cook. I didn't want to try anything too hard. I wanted something simple. I thought about dal, but then I decided to cook potato curry and rice. It is a simple and tasty dish. My mother often makes it when we want something light. I also knew that my father and brother liked it. I took a notebook and wrote down the steps in order. 1. Wash and boil the potatoes. 2. Cut the onions and tomatoes. 3. Fry them in oil with the right spices. 4. Add the potatoes and cook. 5. Wash the rice and boil it in water. I closed the notebook and placed it next to my bed. I still felt a little worried. I had never used the gas stove alone. I had never decided how much salt to put. I had never checked if the rice was soft. What if the food burned? What if it didn't taste good? What if my brother refused to eat it? But I also felt something else. Excitement. I wanted to try. I wanted to learn. Maybe I would make a mistake, but I would learn from it. That night, I went to sleep with many thoughts in my mind. Cooking a meal alone seemed like a big step. But I knew this was my chance to grow and do something new. Tomorrow would be my first day cooking a full meal alone. I wanted it to be a good one. The next morning, I woke up early. The sun was shining through my window. I looked at the clock. It was 7 a.m. My mother was already awake and finishing her packing. She was going to the village by bus. My grandmother was sick, and she needed to visit her for a day. I got out of bed and brushed my teeth. Then I went to the kitchen. My mother was making tea. She smiled at me and said, "Good morning, chef." I laughed a little. "Good morning, Wawa. Are you ready to cook today?" she asked. "I will try my best," I said. She handed me a cup of tea. "Just be careful with the stove. Don't rush. You already know the steps. You can do it." I nodded. I was still nervous, but her words helped me feel better. At 8 a.m., the taxi came to take my mother to the bus station. We all helped carry her bags. My father gave her some money and reminded her to call us when she reached the village. I gave her a tight hug. She said, "Don't worry, Aisha. I believe in you." After she left, the house felt quiet. My father went to work. My brother left for school. I was alone. I went back to my room and looked at the notebook I had prepared the night before. I read the steps again. I wanted to be sure. Then I went to the kitchen. I took a deep breath and said to myself, "Let's start." First, I took 2 big potatoes and washed them well. Then I filled a pot with water and placed the potatoes inside. I turned on the gas stove carefully. I watched the flame. It was my first time doing it alone, but I remembered how my mother showed me. I placed the pot on the flame. While the potatoes were boiling, I took an onion and 2 tomatoes. I washed them. Then I took a chopping board and a small knife. I started cutting the onion. It was hard. My eyes started to water. I wiped them with my sleeve. I remembered my mother always said, "Keep the fan on. It helps with the onions." So I turned on the kitchen fan. That helped a little. Then I cut the tomatoes into small pieces. They were soft, so it was easier. I checked the potatoes. They were not soft yet, so I let them boil for a few more minutes. While I waited, I got the spices ready. I took salt, red chili powder, turmeric, and cumin from the spice box. I placed them near the stove so I would not forget them. After about 20 minutes, the potatoes were soft. I turned off the stove. I used a spoon to take them out and place them in a bowl. I let them cool. I started peeling the potatoes. They were hot, so I did it slowly. Then I cut them into small cubes. They were soft but still held their shape. Now, everything was ready. The vegetables were cut. The spices were ready. The potatoes were boiled and cubed. It was time to start cooking. I felt a little excited. I was doing everything alone. And so far, nothing had gone wrong. I felt proud of myself. I was ready for the next step, cooking the curry. I took a deep breath and stood in front of the stove. It was time to begin cooking. I placed a clean pot on the burner and turned on the flame. I carefully poured 2 tablespoons of oil into the pot. I waited for the oil to heat up. I remembered my mother always said, "Wait until the oil is hot before adding onions." Soon, I saw tiny bubbles in the oil. That meant it was ready. I picked up the chopped onions and slowly dropped them into the pot. SSSSS. The sound was loud, and I stepped back quickly. My heart jumped, but then I smiled. "It's normal," I told myself. I stirred the onions with a spoon. They started to turn golden brown. The smell was strong but nice. I felt proud that I remembered this step correctly. After a few minutes, I added the chopped tomatoes. The tomatoes also made a sizzling sound. Now it was time for the spices. I carefully added half a teaspoon of salt, a pinch of turmeric, 1/4 teaspoon of red chili powder, and a small pinch of cumin. I stirred everything slowly. The colors started to change. The onions and tomatoes became soft and mixed together well. The smell was now like real curry. I added a few tablespoons of water to help the spices cook. I covered the pot with a lid and waited for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I opened the lid and checked. The mixture looked thick and red. I smiled and picked up the boiled potato cubes. I added them into the pot and mixed everything together slowly. The potatoes soaked up the curry flavors. I added a little more water to make some gravy. Then I lowered the flame and covered the pot again. I let it cook for 10 more minutes. While the curry was cooking, I started to prepare the rice. I took 1 cup of rice and washed it 3 times in a bowl. The water became clear. Then I put the rice into another pot and added 2 cups of water. I turned on another burner and placed the pot on it. I let the rice cook. I watched it carefully so the water would not overflow. After a few minutes, the water started to boil. I lowered the flame and placed the lid on the pot. I checked it every few minutes. When the water was gone, I tasted 1 grain. It was soft. The rice was ready. I turned off both stoves. The curry smelled delicious. The rice looked fluffy and white. I had done it. I had cooked potato curry and rice all by myself. I stood in the kitchen, smiling and looking at the food. It was my first time, and I had done everything without burning anything or making a mess. It felt like a big achievement. I was tired, but I was happy. Now, it was time to serve the food. I looked around the kitchen. It was a little messy. There were onion peels, tomato seeds, and spice boxes on the counter. I smiled and began to clean. I washed the cutting board, the knife, and the 2 pots I had used. I wiped the counter and put the spices back in their place. Once the kitchen was clean, I set the table. I took out 2 plates, 2 spoons, and 2 glasses. I poured some water into the glasses. I placed the bowl of hot potato curry in the center and put the pot of rice next to it. The food looked colorful and smelled wonderful. Then, I remembered my mother's habit. She always added something fresh on the side. I opened the fridge and found a cucumber. I quickly washed it, peeled it, and cut it into round slices. I also found a lemon. I cut it in half and placed it on the side of the plate. The simple salad looked nice and fresh. Just as I finished setting everything, I heard the front door open. My younger brother, Hamza, had returned from school. He walked into the house with his bag and looked tired. "Assalamualaikum," he said. "Walaikum assalam," I replied with a big smile. "Welcome home. Lunch is ready." He looked at the table, surprised. "Who made all this?" "I did," I said proudly. "Really? You cooked?" he asked, walking closer. "Yes, potato curry and rice. Come and try it." Hamza quickly washed his hands and sat down. I served him some rice and poured curry on top. He took the first bite slowly, and I watched his face. "Home?" he said. "It's good. A little spicy, but really tasty." I laughed. I was not sure about the chili powder. Maybe I added a little too much. "No, it's fine," he said. "I like it." I served myself and we ate together. It was a nice moment. We talked about his school day and laughed a little. I felt proud and happy. Later, our father came home. He entered the house and said, "It smells good in here." "Who cooked?" Hamza shouted. "I did. She made lunch today." My father looked at me with surprise. "You cooked? Alone?" "Yes, Baba," I said. "I made potato curry and rice." He sat down and I served him a plate. He took a few bites and nodded. "Very good. I'm proud of you, Aisha. You did a great job." His words made my heart feel warm. My first cooking experience had gone well. Everyone was happy. I was happy. That evening, I sent a message to my mother. I told her that I had cooked the meal and everyone liked it. She called me and said, "I knew you could do it. I'm so proud of you." Her words meant everything to me. That day, I learned something important. Trying something new can be scary, but it can also bring great joy and success. The kitchen that once felt strange now felt like my own little world. I was no longer afraid to cook. I had taken the first step, and it felt wonderful. Tomorrow, maybe I would try something new again. The next morning, I woke up feeling fresh and proud. The memory of yesterday made me smile. I had cooked a meal on my own, and my family had liked it. It felt like a big achievement. As I walked into the kitchen, I noticed something different. I did not feel scared or confused. I felt calm and confident. I knew where everything was. I knew how to start. I had taken the first step yesterday, and now I was not afraid. I made a simple breakfast: bread, butter, and tea. While drinking my tea, I thought about what to cook next. My mother would still be at the village until the evening. Maybe I could cook something for dinner too. I took out my notebook and made a list of easy dishes. I wrote down ideas like vegetable rice, lentils, fried eggs, and mixed vegetables. I decided to try making dal, simple lentils. My mother had made it many times, and I had seen her do it. I washed the lentils and put them in a pot with water. I added a little salt and turmeric. I let it boil while I chopped tomatoes and garlic. Once the lentils were soft, I made a simple tadka, seasoning with oil, garlic, and red chili powder. I poured the tadka over the cooked dal. The kitchen again smelled warm and comforting. I was doing it again, cooking a full meal alone. In the evening, my mother returned from the village. I ran to hug her. She looked tired but happy. "Welcome back," I said. She smiled and hugged me. "Thank you, Aisha. I missed you." When she saw the dal and rice on the table, she looked surprised. "You cooked again?" "Yes, I wanted to try dal today," I said. She tasted it and nodded. "It's very good. You are learning fast." Hearing that made me feel even more confident. I was not just helping in the kitchen now. I was becoming someone who could cook, plan, and take care of meals. That day, I understood something important. Cooking is not just about food. It is about care, patience, and courage. It is about trying new things and not giving up. I knew I would still make mistakes. Maybe I would forget to add salt, or burn something once in a while. But now I believed in myself. I had started a new journey. I had taken the first step toward becoming independent. And I was ready to keep going. That night, after dinner, I sat on my bed and thought about everything that had happened. I wanted to write it all down, so I took out my notebook. I opened to a new page and wrote the date at the top. Then I began to write about my experience, the nervous feelings, the cooking steps, and how happy I felt when my family liked my food. As I wrote, I smiled. I was proud of my little story. It was not a story from a book. It was from my real life. The next day at college, I met my best friend, Sana. We sat together during the lunch break. "Guess what?" I said excitedly. "What happened?" she asked. "I cooked a full meal all by myself yesterday." "Really? What did you make?" "Potato curry and rice for lunch, and dal for dinner." Sana looked surprised and happy. "Wow, Aisha, that's amazing. Was it hard?" "At first, yes. I was scared. But when I started doing each step, I felt better. And it turned out really good. My family liked it." Sana smiled. "You are so brave. I've never cooked a full meal alone. I only make tea or instant noodles." I laughed. I thought I couldn't do it. But now I know I can. You should try it too. Start with something simple. We talked for the rest of the break about easy recipes and our mother's cooking. It felt good to share my story. I was not just learning to cook. I was inspiring others too. That evening, my mother called me to the kitchen. "Come help me with the roti," she said. I joined her and rolled out some dough. She watched me and nodded. "You've become more confident. I can see it." Yes, Wawa. Cooking by myself helped me learn a lot. She gave me a small smile and said, "I'm proud of you." Her words made me feel warm inside. That night, I added something new to my notebook. At the bottom of my story, I wrote, "Sometimes, the things that scare us help us grow the most." I closed the book and put it away. I was ready for more challenges, more learning, and many more meals to cook. Over the next few weeks, something inside me began to change. I no longer felt nervous when I entered the kitchen. Instead, I felt excited. Cooking was no longer just a task. It was something I enjoyed. One Sunday morning, my mother asked me, "Would you like to cook something special for lunch today?" I smiled. "Yes, Mama. Can I try making chicken curry?" She looked pleased but a little surprised. "That's a big step. Are you sure you're ready?" "Yes. I watched you make it many times. I'll be careful." She nodded. "Okay. I'll help you if you need it. But this time, you take the lead." I was excited and a little scared, but I knew I had to try. I gathered the ingredients: chicken, onions, tomatoes, garlic, ginger, and the right spices. I washed and cut the chicken carefully. I chopped the onions and tomatoes slowly, trying to make the pieces even. My mother watched me from the side but didn't stop me. She only gave small suggestions when I asked. I followed all the steps I had seen her do. I cooked the onions until golden, added garlic and ginger paste, then the tomatoes, and finally the chicken with spices. The kitchen filled with a rich, spicy smell. I kept stirring the pot and checking the taste. After about 40 minutes, the chicken was soft and the curry was thick. I turned off the stove and looked at my mother. She smiled. "It smells perfect. Let's eat." We sat down for lunch. Me, Mama, Baba, and Hamza. I served everyone a plate of rice with chicken curry. Everyone took a bite. There was silence for a few seconds, and then my father said, "Mashallah. This tastes just like your mother's cooking." Hamza nodded with a mouthful. "It's amazing. Better than the potato curry." My mother looked at me with pride in her eyes. "I think we have a new chef in the house." That moment meant so much to me. I had not just cooked a meal. I had grown into someone more confident and responsible. Cooking taught me more than just recipes. It taught me about patience, learning, and believing in myself. From that day, cooking became a regular part of my life. Sometimes I made mistakes. Sometimes the food was too salty or not spicy enough. But each time, I learned something new. I also began teaching my brother simple things like making tea or frying an egg. We laughed together and enjoyed those small lessons. Cooking had once scared me. Now, it made me feel strong. I learned that every big thing starts with one small step. And my first step was that one day, when I cooked potato curry and rice for the first time all alone. It was the beginning of something beautiful.